So launching an Ubuntu EC2 instance with Terraform and associated resources. So just for heading it is given. There is nothing such called associated resources term in Terraform. So what does that associated resources means? Till now what we have done is we have created everything in a single file. Terraform code we have written in a single file, that is main.tf. Okay, but we can again segregate it. Okay, so suppose I can write a different provider block only for provider. So provider.tf will have only details of provider. Then I can write only the variables, okay, in a separate file, variables.tf. The name can be anything, but it should be realistic. We should be able to understand. So here we are defining some variables. Okay, so AWS region. So variable only type is defined. So we are only defining a variable. We are not giving a proper value to it. Okay, only AWS region variable is defined. So like any programming language, the variable needs to be defined, then it can be used. Okay, so here we are only defining the variable. One of the variable is AWS region, the other one is public key path. Okay, then the name of the key name. Okay, we can give various name to variables. Okay, means for all resources we can have variables, in this case only for this three. Then here we can also add one more block called default. Okay, so suppose AWS region default equal to US East 1 I can write. Okay, public key path, some path I can give, key name also I can give default equal to something, but here I have not given the default values. So if you don't give the default values, when you run the Terraform, okay, it will prompt you to enter some value for it. Okay, and if you don't want the prompt to be done, then we have to create one more file called terraform.tf-vars. Okay, in this terraform.tf-vars, here we have defined the values variables. Okay, and the values for those variable will be defined in terraform.tf-vars. Okay, so here for this AWS region, the value is US East 1. Okay, for public key path we are giving the value here, and for key name this is the one. So you must be wondering why we are using two separate files, right? So in this one we will be defining the default values. I haven't used default block, but in the production scenarios sometimes the default block is defined. But if you do not want that default block, because most of the time the code is reused. Okay, so when we reuse the code, we do not want the default values, we want to overwrite it. Okay, means override I'm saying. So to override those values we can use terraform tf-vars. Okay, so remember this can be an interview question, why there is a need for terraform tf-vars. So the correct answer is to define the values and to override the default values. Okay, now we'll define the main logic here in main.tf. Okay. So whatever variables we defined here, we can call it. For example, here the variable public key path is used. Okay, here the variable key name is used. Okay, I can also give variable for security group and all, but for demo purpose I have given only for limited resources. Again here the data Ubuntu AMI ID is dynamically get generated from the data block here. Okay, but in this example it is for Ubuntu 20. I'll change it to Ubuntu 22 if it doesn't work. And AWS key pair, yeah, that's it. So here only the resources, the variables used are key name and the file, but we defined one more variable, that is AWS region. So where it is, somewhere it may be, you will see that. And we can also define the output block. Okay, so after completing after running the Terraform code, okay, applying it, we need the instance ID. For getting the instance ID, we'll have to go here, and this is the instance ID. Okay, we'll have to go here and check for the instance ID. And for that purpose only we'll have to log in, and later on for getting the public IP also we log in, okay, to the AWS console to get the public IP. But with this approach we can get everything on the screen itself. Okay, so what I can do is I can write all these things, all the separate files whatever I've mentioned here, in a single file as well. Okay, main.tf I can have this block, variables also I can have, output also I can have, okay, in the main.file itself. But in production environment it is recommended we have separate files for everything. Okay, so let's start with this exercise. So we'll make sure that our keys are ready. Okay, so we today itself we created this keys. So there is a typo, I should write here tilde sign like this, tilde slash. I'm on some other one. Okay, yeah, let me destroy this previous exercise, Terraform destroy, and instead of asking for yes no I'll just write auto approve. Okay, let it get destroyed, then we'll start the exercise. So first we'll check if we have public key and all, then we'll create all this file, only the empty files. Okay, in Ansible also we did almost same. Okay, we created roles. Okay, let it get destroyed. I'll open a new session. So let's create a directory structure as mentioned here. I'll create a directory EC2 resources. I'll go inside it and let's create a directory structure. So we have main.tf, output.tf, provider, variables, and terraform tf-vars. All the files are empty. Okay. Now let's add the values into it. Okay. So let's write the code. So first one is for provider. So here we'll be using that variable. Okay, AWS region. So that variable is defined in the next file, that is variables.tf, along with some other variables as well. We have defined the variables. Let's add value to it. For all the variables, we are adding values. Terraform tf-vars. So region is US East 1. Okay, the public key path value and the key pair name value. And here we'll define the main logic. What we want to do, we have to create an EC2 instance and a security group. We want to get the output. Okay, so remember I can add all these files which whatever I've created in a single file as well, but we are segregating it. So let's run it. Terraform init. So if you see the even the output block which we have written, it is getting it from the block itself. So it is getting the value for instance ID from AWS instance my instance dot ID. So let's check the AWS block AWS instance dot my instance. Okay, and what I need instance ID. That's why it says ID. Okay. Similarly, if I need public IP, I'll just add public IP here. So from this block itself, it is after creating, it will give the output. So let's run the command terraform plan. So it is going to add 3 resources. Okay, one of them is security group, key pair, and EC2 instance. Terraform apply and auto approve. And I think I forgot to add values to cat. I didn't create output.tf. Okay, just a minute. I ran it on some other terminal. Okay, I need to destroy it. It was for previous exercise. Okay, so we need to run it here. Okay, so this is the one I need to do plan in it. Terraform plan. So again, we'll have to wait for some time because it has some names which we have used here as well, like key name and all. Okay, so if you see, it will give the details after running, completing the playbook. So let's wait for it to get finished. Okay, so that is destroyed the previous one. Now I'll just Terraform apply, auto approve. Okay, it started creating the resources. It created key pair security group, and now it's creating instance. Okay, so I now don't have to go at all to search for anything. Okay, I got it on the screen itself. I'll just do SSH. Okay, it's getting ready. That's why I said connection refused. Just wait for some time. So we went step by step. Earlier we went to the AWS console to check the AMI ID. Then we had one exercise where we calculated that AMI ID dynamically. Okay. Then for creating for connecting to the instance, we generated SSH key pair as well automatically. Okay. Then we got the output as well on the screen itself, so that we do not have to go to the AWS console and check for it. Okay. So if you see the total automation we have achieved here. Okay, now I'm able to log in. So I'm logged in into it. Okay, so that was how we that was all about creating various resources like output variables and all. Okay, I'll just destroy it. Okay, so that's it for today. We have 15 to 16 minutes. You can complete whatever is left. I'm here till 8:30.